Hey everybody, BrickLoot here today with another episode of Ask Brick. I'm actually really excited about this episode, one, because I haven't really done Ask Brick in a few months now, so I'm excited to get back into the swing of things, and two, because this episode is really inspired by an email that I received from a viewer. His name is Dustin Hughes, I believe. I'm sorry if I said your last name wrong, but he sent a really good email just kind of asking me about my office and things like that. He's looking into maybe potentially doing something very similar, so he wanted to know a little bit about my experience. And reading this email, he actually gave the idea to make this video, but reading, and part of the reason why I decided to do that is because I'm like, I could easily send him an email with these answers, but I also think that some of my viewers would really like to kind of hear it as well. So I've compiled a list of some of the most commonly asked questions that I've been getting about my office space, as well as I put a call out to anybody who had any additional questions to ask. So the first question is, any advice to moving to an office? I would say my biggest advice to moving to an office is just to really make sure everything's planned properly. I know when I moved, I had a lot of it really planned out. I knew where things wanted to go. I had pre-measured everything, pre-measured all the furniture I was going to be buying. I wish, moving to an office, like advice now, I wish I would have been able to get the furniture ahead of time, so I wasn't moving all my Lego in and then trying to move in furniture and then trying to build furniture in here. That was a lot. I wish the space would have been completely set up, tables and everything in place. So as soon as I moved up here, I could have just moved everything in. In my case, that wasn't possible because I had no way to get all this furniture from IKEA without my dad bringing the trailer, and of course he's not going to bring the trailer up empty and then stuff like that. So I would say any advice is try and have your space set up and ready before you actually move any of your Lego in. And then just packing really well, because moving to an office, moving anywhere, your Lego could get really broken. So make sure you pack really well. I think that's important. And then of course researching the place you want to go, making sure that it's safe. My big priority was security, because I've got a lot of Lego in here, and because I do post a lot of this stuff on YouTube, it's probably pretty easy to find my address on the internet. I wanted to make sure that moving to an office, I took into account like money and space and security and things like that. So I advise, plan ahead, try and put your furniture in ahead of time, and don't forget to pack extra well. The other question is, why did I choose this space? So I in particular chose this space. It was actually the very first place that I found when I was looking for an office. Like, this was the very first listing I clicked on. It wasn't even the first place that I toured, but it was the first listing I viewed. I loved this space in particular because it was all finished, so I didn't need any work. The ceiling was covered, the drywall was there, floors were done, and they're really nice floors, and the wall was fully painted. Like, it didn't need any work. It was move-in ready. I loved the location. It's like 10 or 15 minutes on the subway from my house, which is perfect. It's right off the subway, so it's perfectly, like, it's perfect central. It's really easy and accessible to get to, not too far away if I need to Uber or something like that. Because it had two big rooms, which is really important. I needed a lot of space, and it was divided nicely. Being finished was a big part, and of course, because of the security, when I toured this place for the first time, it was hard to get upstairs because of how much security was downstairs, security guards, concierges, things like that. So that made me feel extra safe, and the whole building has got security cameras everywhere. There's key fobs to get into any different floor, stuff like that. It's a very secure building, and of course, the rent was really reasonable. I toured lots of spaces that were unfinished, very poor price points, very tiny, very dirty, not easy to get to, took a long time, that was sketched out by the renters. Like, there was just a whole bunch of things. But coming to this place, it was a professional agency in a great building, lots of security, move-in ready, and big. It's a pretty big space. So that, and of course the price. I'm in downtown Toronto. I couldn't get an office like on Bloor Street because it costs like $2,000, $3,000 a month, which I do not have to spend on a Lego office space. But those are some of the factors that why I chose this space in particular. What came up that you weren't expecting? Honestly, insurance was the biggest one that came up that I wasn't expecting. I know you probably should when you have a substantial Lego collection, but back home we didn't have any additional homeowners insurance covering kind of our Lego collection. It was just included in the regular policy. So wanting to move out, having to add additional insurance was something I never really thought of. Internet was another thing. When I moved into this space, this office, that was the one thing that wasn't finished, is there was no internet here. So that took a few months to get installed by the time I actually investigated it. Finally I have internet now, and I can't even imagine this place before without the internet, so it's been really great having that. But coming at that, just trying to get that all in this room had never been used for Wi-Fi, so trying to run it from the roof a few stories above me to in here through the walls. It was a whole process. It took like 6 technicians. I had so many people in here working one day trying to get internet and stuff like that. It was crazy, but that was pretty unexpected. Insurance was pretty unexpected, but I would say for the most part, everything was pretty expected about the move. The space is pretty exactly how I wanted it, and everything else is going pretty well. What are the pros and cons of renting a space to store your Lego collection? So pros, all my Legos in one place, which is huge. Pros of renting it in Toronto is that I actually get to use it. When my Lego was back home, I rarely got to use it, and so this is like a great stress reliever. I get to continue making more videos and stuff like that. I can display it however I want, and I have a lot of space to do it. In my other room, I was limited to what I could do because of how tiny it was. But now I'm in a much bigger space that's mine to rent, and I can just basically do whatever I want. Cons, of course, include the cost. It's not fun paying rent every month. I just think of how many modular buildings I could buy every month for the same price of the rent. Like, I could buy a lot more Lego. But at the same time, I wouldn't be making YouTube. I wouldn't be earning the revenue. And I wouldn't be having this like great de-stressor. Like, I'd probably be doing homework tonight, but that'd be no fun, so I'd rather be here. Cons is definitely the commute sometimes sucks. It's like, sometimes it was really nice if you only have half an hour to go do something in your Lego room, start a little bit of sorting. But like when you have to commute 15 to 20 minutes to get there and then 15 to 20 minutes home, if I only have an hour, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make that commute versus when it was back home and say I was home and I was bored for literally half an hour. I could go in, do something, and then come out. But now when I come here, I need to know I have at least a 2-hour gap, maybe even 3, if I want to actually get anything done. So that's kind of a con. Pros is this is also a 24-hour building, so I could be in here until 4 a.m. making videos, which is really great. Some buildings I looked at, you had to be out by 10 o'clock, which would have been no good because I do a lot of work after 10 o'clock, like I'm a student. And then this question is, how much does rent cost? So I'm not going to disclose that on video because that's between me and my landlord, but my rent, I do cover my rent with my YouTube revenue. A lot of people are wondering how I can afford it. Making these videos and things like that is how I can continue to afford this space. But another reason why the rent doesn't really matter is because I'm in downtown Toronto. So rent here in this 2-room building in a secure building is going to be much more expensive than maybe rent in the basement of some random storage unit or some retail space in a much smaller town. So it's really hard to compare apple to apples there. It's like apple to oranges. But yeah, I'm not going to disclose how much my rent is, but it's pretty reasonable, and YouTube allows me to rent the space. So I'll give you that. And Brickstar also asked, after you finish school, do you think you'll keep the space or go to a bigger spot? Well, I really hope to be able to keep the space for as long as I can. It's a really great space, and I'm really starting to feel at home here. It took a few months, to be honest, after I moved in. From moving out of my home to moving in here, sometimes I would come here and it just wouldn't feel like my place. Like it was weird, it was uncomfortable. I didn't really have things the way I wanted. Over the last few months, I've been really becoming more comfortable in the space, and I really I've always enjoyed spending my time here, but at first it was really weird. It felt uncomfortable. It didn't feel permanent because I only had the lease for a year. After I finish school, I don't really know what I'll do because I have to wait and see where I'm going to be living, where I have a job, if I'm still doing YouTube, like the whole 9 yards. And of course, it would be great eventually to maybe move this back into my house, but in a much bigger space. Like I don't imagine it's going to go back to, my parents' house, but someday down the line when I'm out of school and with my own house, it'd be nice to have like a Lego man cave in the basement or something like that. It's a great opportunity right now, but school, I still have 2 more years left of school, so let's hope I'm here for, at least 2 more years. But yeah, I really enjoyed this office space so far. It's been really great having it. It's really helped me make a lot of videos. It's great for when I've had a stressful day at school or have a lot of stuff to do. I can come here. Sometimes I just want to do my homework in this space. Like I'll sit right at this table, use the internet, and just do my essays, things like that, because it's a nice environment and nobody bothers me. But it's really, really great so far. I love having the mailbox so I can just have stuff shipped here. I love having a bunch of desks so I can build and watch TV. And it's so far just a really great space that I hope to continue really taking advantage of it and really continuing to step up my YouTube game. I know it's been a long time coming, but it's something I really want to prioritize now that we're in the new year, making lots of new videos and things like that. So thanks everybody so much for watching. If you can think of any more questions, or anything that you want to know about my office that I didn't really address in this video, please leave them down in the comments below. Can't wait to read them. I'm more than happy to read them and see if I can answer them in the comments as well. So far, I've really enjoyed my time here, and I'm looking forward to doing lots more. So thanks everybody so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.